What's up, everybody? You're tuned in to the Cris Style
and Mal.
Podcast, episode 225. Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good day. Whatever you're doing, you're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream on this Dr. Martin Luther King birthday day. We appreciate y'all tapping in. If you are listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. Put a comment in the comment section. We got a lot to speak on, some NFL stuff, of course, divisional playoff recap. We got a national championship we got to talk about today. It goes down today at 4:30 on our side, our time. Indiana versus Miami, and we got some NBA stuff and some other things we're gonna speak on. But until we get into that, Mal, how you feeling, sir?
Mar, I don't know how Mar's doing, but Mar's feeling okay. You know what I mean? Drank a little bit too much yesterday, but I'm feeling cool. But how y'all feeling, man? How you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. You know, up and at 'em, ready to talk about these topics.
Now, let's do it.
All right, man. Let's talk about the breaking news, man. This morning, Sean McDermott was fired from the Buffalo Bills after the disappointing loss to the Broncos on Saturday. Um, me and you have talked about this team and how they couldn't underachieve this year in the divisional round, and the path to them getting to at least getting to the Super Bowl was right there for them. No Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, no John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, no, you know, Joe Burrows and all them. Like none of the top quarterbacks are in this playoffs right now. I mean, if you want to count Drake May, but this is his first year of getting up into that level. So, but still, he was the best quarterback on the AFC side, and with the experience, Sean McDermott, you would have to say, I guess you would say Sean Payton is probably the better head coach. But I think Sean McDermott is right there as far as being the level of consistency being in these, in the playoffs and being in the divisional round or the AFC championship game. So, what are your overall thoughts of Sean McDermott losing his job? Do you think he was scapegoated? Do you think it was rightfully so? What are your opinions?
No, I think I've stated it before. I think it was time to move on, but I think this can't be the last domino. I think they should fire Brandon Beane because I think I saw reports saying they're going to keep him, which I think is a grave mistake. Because look, at the end of the day, Sean McDermott, I think he's a great head coach. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I think his record was like 98-50 with the Bills, so obviously that's a positive thing. I think he will get a job somewhere else. I just think it was kind of like in the same situations like a Mike Tomlin. We've seen the story written over and over again that this team can't get over the hump, and I think he was one of the reasons why. Now, at the end of the day, I think Brandon Beane has enabled this team to be what it was capable of being because he wasn't aggressive during the trade deadline. You had the opportunity to get Jacoby Myers. You had the opportunity to maybe potentially get Tyreek Hill in the offseason. There was many Deebo Samuel in the offseason. Like there is plenty of wide receivers that we all knew that this team was missing that could have put them over the hump. You didn't have a true number one receiver. You put in Brandon Cooks, who I like Brandon Cooks, you know what I mean? He is a little older. You could tell just with him being added, just a little boost he was able to do. Imagine if you would have added a Jacoby Myers. We saw what he did in elevating the Jacksonville Jaguars to the number 3 seed in the AFC. What you think Josh Allen would have done with that? But if they're going to keep him, I think they're going to just be in the same boat because at the end of the day, Brandon Beane is just not aggressive enough for me when you have one of the top quarterbacks in this league. And I know we're going to talk about Josh Allen. I'll save that for when we talk about the game, but he's not to my liking. I think when you have a superstar talent like that with James Cook, a defense that I think played above what we saw them playing for the majority of the year, especially that back end, they played decent enough. I think they played good enough to win that game. It just came back down to, the mental mistakes that, comes down to the coaching. Obviously some mishaps on Josh Allen's side, which I said we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but it also comes back to how unaggressive this GM was and how this roster was just so incomplete. And even the most novice person can honestly watch this team for maybe a game or two and understand what they needed to be added to the squad. And Brandon Beane refused to do so. So I think Sean McDermott being fired, I don't think he should have been If I had to put it in order, I think it should have been Brandon Beane first, then Sean McDermott. At the end of the day, I think both should have been let go. But if you had to keep one, I would have rather kept Sean McDermott and then fired Brandon Beane and find me somebody who's going to be willing to do what is necessary to make this team a playoff Super Bowl contending team. And until and as long as he's there, or until he changes his philosophy, this team will remain the same and have the same inconsistencies that we've been seeing for the past several years.
Yeah, they actually, not only did they not fire Brandon Beane, they gave him a promotion he's the president of football operations now. So
good luck. The Bills aren't winning shit. I hate to start cussing so early in our podcast. I'm really trying to work on not cussing. I really want to be better at that. But they're never going to win anything with Brandon Beane. I'm sorry. I just don't see it.
Yeah, so we'll see. I guess they're trying to say that he's going to have a little bit more hands-on with some of the talent that they acquire. I don't know.
Good luck.
But yeah, they gave him a promotion, so we'll see how that happens. Yeah. With this firing, does the Buffalo Bills become the more attractive job, or is it still the Ravens?
I think you could probably say they're both on the same tier. You know what I mean? You both have quality MVP, quality quarterbacks that are still in their prime. Both of them are running style quarterbacks. Both of them have seen their share of injuries, especially this year. So I think they're on the same tier as the Ravens, as far as like if you're a head coach and you're looking for something to win now, those are your two spots that you should be looking at. Now, if you're a head coach that wants to kind of build something in his own vision, I think the Raiders are still the best opportunity for that. So it just depends on what a coach wants. But if you want something that's already established, yeah, those two are on the same tier to me.
Yeah, for sure. I understand what you're saying, Mark, with Dayball, and I can see that. I can see Dayball. I can see them. Maybe Brandon Beane want to keep some continuity on that offense, and maybe he just elevates Joe Brady as the head coach. But the dark horse,
huh? I think it's gonna be Joe Brady.
But I think the name that and I just learned this morning is Davis Webb, because that's Josh Allen's best friend.
Well, there you go.
They said they're best friends because he was the QB coach there for a couple of years. So,
well, I'm sure Josh Allen would be recruiting him hard then. So I would probably say he's probably the favorite then. I did not know he was their best friend. So
yeah, they're best friends. Just as something to look at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying maybe it doesn't mean that he's the head coach. Maybe he just comes over and be the OC. You know what I'm saying? So
maybe, because we all understand Davis Webb is still a young coach. You know, it is a gamble. Hiring him. Even in my Raiders situation, we would still need a veteran OC to be. They already said they would need a veteran OC to pair with him. That's why you kind of get the Davis Webb, Cliff Kingsbury kind of combination. So it will be interesting. I'm sure Josh Allen will have a lot to say in who he wants as his head coach. But again, I said, as long as you got Brandon Beane, I'm going to be thoroughly unimpressed, because he's going to continuously do the same thing, which is procrastinate with what he sees before him.
Well, this is, with this promotion, this is the biggest offseason for Brandon Beane. The biggest off season. Head coach, personnel around him, players. Do you go out there and maybe you call Philly and get an AJ Brown to come over there? Do you go get, what I'm saying? They was trying to get Jalen Waddle at the trade deadline. Do you try to make that trade happen now? Call Miami, try to get that done in the draft. How aggressive are you with certain pieces on there, especially on that defensive line? I still think that you've whiffed and had some bad picks when it comes to the defensive side. Outside of like Trevarius White, and he's old. Most of his good players that he picked, they're old now. The Jordan Poyers, those dudes, yeah, they were good at one point. They were top of their position at one point. They're old now, so you can't rest on.
Who was their last good pick in the draft? James Cook.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
Come on, man. You picked Keon Coleman. No offense to Keon Coleman, but he hasn't really shown anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can try. You can I'm not saying this is you, but I'm like, I could hear him trying this and trying that, but he's got nothing done. he's like literally like Rob Pelinka, dog. Like, unless there's something like falls in his lap or somebody's dumb enough to give them a trade that's just hard to like you can't even second guess about. He don't do nothing. He just sits there and doesn't do a damn thing. And I get it. This could be a sign for ownership being like, all right, we let go of Sean McDermott. We're going to give you the president title. This is on you. So we're going to give you 1 year to prove yourself and show us that you can get us to the promised land. If you cannot do that, you will be the next one gone, sir. So
I agree. I think that's why they did put this on him. I think
Yeah.
they like, all right, we're gonna give you all of this, because maybe Brandon Bean was like, look, man, I ain't have the wiggle room to make the moves I wanted to make. I wanted to move up to get Trent McDuffie in front of the Chiefs, which that was the truth. He wanted Trent McDuffie, and the Chiefs went and got him. You know what I'm saying? Just some of the other moves that they've made is just like,
yeah, let's not account like all the fucking trades they've done with the goddamn Chiefs that they've been competing with, and the Chiefs end up getting the players that they wanted, and those were the players that ended up costing them to get to the Super Bowl. Like, this is the GM y'all are keeping. Like, okay, so yeah, you give him 1 more year, but I'm like, now you're wasting another year of Josh Allen. Like, you know what I mean? And we all know the older he gets, the more beat up he's going to get. We've seen it. We're starting to see it. Like, his body is slowly breaking down. Like, I'm not saying like he's peaked at his prime or anything like that, but we see his body slowly failing him, man. He got lucky these past couple games. Like, he could have easily tore his ACL in that Broncos game. We see him have the foot injury. We all know foot injuries can be a lingering factor, hand injuries, all that type of stuff, man. He gets popped a lot hard. And Josh Allen is a tough guy, but sooner or later, man, we saw with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a tough guy, but sooner or later, his body failed him. And he was a specimen as well.
Yeah, and it was the same situation with Cam Newton. Lack of weapons. And him, he had to be, that was his monker. I know he did the Superman thing, but after a while, he don't need to be Superman. No. You know what I'm saying? Put some Justice League dudes around him.
Yeah, put a Batman, put a Wonder Woman, like put something. Like, I just don't understand how the Bills, they're literally the same. I agree with you. Maybe defensively, the Carolina Panthers were better. I think Carolina defensively was better, especially when they had like Luke Kuechly and all that. But in that Super Bowl run. Yeah. But come on, man. Offensively, they're really mimic the same as the Panthers, dog. They really do. They really do. And you got to look at that team. You just got we cannot make the same mistake with Josh Allen that the Carolina Panthers made with Cam Newton. You just cannot do that. You know what I mean? So again, like, you can fire Sean McDermott all you want, but with Brandon Bean still being there, I'm still going into next year. Bills are going to be a regular season team, though. We just know that.
Yeah, we're gonna see what the moves they make, and if they make the right moves, then we can come back to this and be like, all right, they trying to make some moves in the right direction and get some help around Josh Allen, which and there's other things they need to correct, with that team. We'll talk about it later, though.
Right, for sure.
Also, Kevin Stefanski has been hired as the new Falcons head coach. Now, a lot of I've seen a few fan base, people of that fan base not particularly happy with this hiring, especially with the way he handled the Shedeur Sanders hire. Also, we all know Deion Sanders is linked to the Atlanta Falcons. That was his first team that he got drafted to. So he was really, he's one of the more famous players to ever play for that organization. And so there's that. And, we all know, let's not be stupid, the fan base in Atlanta is predominantly black. You know what I'm saying? And so when we see something funny, especially with a head coach, yeah, we ain't gonna, it's a little tone deaf. It is. Especially, you hire Matt Ryan, and we all know, I'm pretty for sure the fan base loves Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
He brought them a lot of success to that team. So I'm sure they love it. But this wasn't a glowing move for Matt Ryan to hire Kevin Stefanski, even though I predicted him to get the job. But yeah, I just think that they possibly could have went in a different direction, maybe a Brian Flores or somebody like that to bring in to be, the head coach, just to raise morale for the fan base. I know at the end of the day, it's about results. It's about the bottom line. And real talk, as much as it will be an uproar if Kevin Stefanski brings back, the Falcons and they're in the NFC Championship next year, I think all will be forgiven. Personally, I just think that. So, but what are your thoughts on this hire?
This man has a 46-58 record, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I don't understand the infatuation of Kevin Stefanski at all as a head coach. I get people want to always hold on to those 2 Coach of the Year awards that he won, but what are we doing? He hasn't done anything as of late. And then as a great head coach, we see it with some of the great head coaches, whether it's Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. They know how to adapt. They know how to adapt with their team. They don't have, like, at the end of the day, all these head coaches have egos, as you should, man. You're the head coach of an NFL team. That's the only way you're able to get to that access without being confident in who you are. But at the same time, these head coaches understand that, sometimes we got to remold ourselves in a sense of who we may like as a player that should be participating and who needs to be on that field. Kevin Stefanski clearly showed that he could not do that. He clearly had an issue with Shedeur Sanders, and he clearly showed it every chance that he got when the clear writing on the wall that he should have been the starting quarterback. Not saying Shedeur Sanders would have got the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs. Not saying that Shedeur Sanders would have won a playoff game. Hell, I'm not even saying Shedeur Sanders would win a Super Bowl or anything like that. But I think they would have been a lot more competitive, especially with that defense that they would have had. You know what I mean? Especially in that division that we saw clearly that was struggling with some of the injuries that the Baltimore Ravens had. Obviously, Cincinnati Bengals are the Cincinnati Bengals, and then Pittsburgh Steelers are the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I just don't understand why Kevin Stefanski is getting a job right now. I think he should have been clearly a candidate that should have been a guy that had to kind of work himself back to get the reputation of being a head coach again, to show that he's not going to sit here and play favoritisms, that he's not going to sit here and look at his football team just because he doesn't like a particular player and how he acts, but in clear sense knows that he is the better quarterback on that roster. I don't know, man. Like, I understand. Like, I know people. I saw what's my man's name? Comedian dude. What's my man's name? He kind of commented on it. I forgot his name.
Oh, DC Young Fly.
Yeah, DC Young Fly kind of commented on that stuff like that. And obviously the rest of the fan base, like, I get it, man. Like, he's kind of going into a rough patch because you're going to have a fan base that's not going to have the backing. He's going to be a coach that doesn't have the backing of the fan base. So, and then you got to understand what he's heading into another situation where you have quarterback QB issues again. You know what I mean? You got the issue with Michael Penix and his knee injury. You got Kirk Cousins, even though I think he looked a little bit better, but he is getting older with age. Like, what are you going to do with that? You got to figure out your signing with Kyle Pitts. I don't know. It just doesn't move me at all. But, he has an opportunity. Matt Ryan made that choice. And, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to be sitting here and giving this an A+ hiring. I give it like a C. But I don't understand the why Kevin Stefanski is just held to just such a high caliber. I don't get it. That's just
me. Yeah. Like I said, I don't really get it either. I think it's a level of tone deaf, not just from Matt Ryan, but from Arthur Blank too. Especially, being an owner in Atlanta, he shouldn't recognize and know his fan base and know how they're going to react to this and all the stuff that happened with Kevin Stefanski and this whole, Shedeur Sanders situation. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what he can do with the Atlanta Falcons. Like I said, if he can make the Atlanta Falcons relevant again and make them viable in the NFC, then, maybe the fan base will be like, all right.
I thought Kubiak would have been a nice hire for this position.
Yeah,
I would have liked him to go there. I was like, Brian Flores, he would have been cool. Jesse Minter, somebody like that. Like, get some new. I think Atlanta needs like some new blood. I need some young, new, inspirational blood in there that can get that fan base going. Like, I just think Kevin Stefanski's just played out to me personally. And I don't mean no disrespect on that, but I don't know. It's just, again, it just doesn't move the fan base. Actually angers the fan base.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens going forward, man. So, all right, man. You got any NBA news?
Yeah, I got a couple. I got a couple things. Over the weekend, obviously Memphis, they're playing overseas in Europe. Against the Orlando Magic, they had like a little double header. One I think was in London, the other one I think was in Paris or something like that. Um, but anyways, Ja, he made some comments saying that he wants to stay in Memphis. Obviously there have been obviously he's been kind of linked to the Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, but with some NBA insiders, they're kind of hinting that they may not really have the appetite that we once may have thought to add Ja Morant. So my question to you is, with that information and with Ja saying that he wants to kind of stay with Memphis, what do you think Memphis should do? Do you think they should kind of hold out, see if he can get his draft not draft stock but trade stock up, or do you think they could try to mend fences with Ja and try to see if they can push forward?
I'm still in the warehouse. They just need to separate. They need to cut bait. I think both sides need a breath of fresh air somewhere else. It's just not worked out in Memphis. I mean, how many chances does Memphis going to give Ja Morant to get it right? Like they gave him multiple chances, and it just hasn't worked out. And I'm not saying that he can't go somewhere and be a back to being one of the top players. It's just I just think he needs to go somewhere else, man. I do. I just think that whatever's going on in Memphis, it just hasn't been good for him. And maybe he needs to just go somewhere where it's fresh, new players. Maybe he can go somewhere with some veterans around him that can take him under their wing and be like, "Yo, man, this is how you do it, young man. Like you're too great for this, man. You could be so much more. And let me help you out with that because I just think that whatever is going on in Memphis is just not the right blend and mix for John Morant. So, and I think just both sides need to just clean the slate and go in different directions.
Nah, I agree with you. I think that's the answer. But if no other team wants him, then it's gonna be kind of hard to make that a
Well,
reality. You know what I mean?
then the next step should be then they need to find a trade for maybe a veteran to bring on this team that can possibly speak to John Morant. That can be
Maybe,
around John Morant. That can, what I'm saying, just
maybe sign
a
Chris. Maybe
leader.
sign Chris, but I don't know how that would work.
I'm just saying,
Chris
just
is a high end guy.
get some other leaders on this squad that can possibly steer Ja in the right direction. I know he's a grown ass man; he gonna do what he do. But I'm just saying, like somebody he can respect that, what I'm saying, could kind of put him under the wing and just be like, "Hey, man, you too great for this, man. We can't go without you. So let's take a step back and let's what I'm saying, figure this thing out."
Nah,
Maybe
yeah,
the organization needs to have like a come to Jesus moment with John and just sit down, not tell him, just like, "Hey, man, what's up, man? How can we get this right, dog? Like, what do you need?" You know what I'm saying? We want to invest back into you. We want you to be the guy that we drafted you to be. What do we need to do to get you back in the right headspace?
I just think the Grizzlies need to just wake up and just blow this team up. Like you got some young assets that you could keep with Zach Edey, GG Jackson, and some other guys. Like look, find a trade partner for Ja. Find a trade partner for Jaren Jackson Jr. Like I just think it's time, man. Especially with this youth explosion that's going to start coming into this league. I think it's time to set yourself up for the future, man. You're not winning anything with Jaren Jackson Jr. You're not winning anything with Ja Morant, especially in the West. Like you're not competing with these teams. You're not even competing with these teams that's in the middle of the pack. It's not going to happen. I like Jaren Jackson Jr., but it's a problem when you're 6'10", 6'11", almost 7 foot, and the athletic ability that he has, and you got point guards that average more rebounds than you. That's a problem. John Morant, your supposed leader point guard, who just can't seem to wrap his head that he needs to mature. Like he wants to be just so combative over everything. Like I don't get it. Even like when I hear him talk in press conferences, like he just the simplest questions he just gets triggered. Man, I'm just like I don't get it. But they need to go ahead and just blow it up. But again, it's gonna be kind of tough when you don't want anybody to, have a trade partner with. All right, next up, man, KD made some more historical achievements. Man, he passed Dirk Nowitzki in the all-time scoring list. He passed him scoring He's at 31,562. Now he's currently 6th. Dirk Nowitzki was at 31,560. He's about a little less than 1,000 away from Michael Jordan from getting from 5th. My question to you is, where do you see Kevin Durant finishing in the ranking for the all-time scoring list? How high could you possibly see him getting before the end of his career?
I guess top 3, possibly top 3. Depends on how many more years he wants to play. I mean, he's getting to the tail end of his career, probably. So I'm sure he got 2-3 more years left in him. So,
here, let me read you your list. LeBron James, obviously, he's number 1. He's at 42,683. So obviously, he's not going to catch him. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he's at 38,387. Karl Malone at number 3 is 36,928. My GOAT, Kobe Bryant, he's at 33,643. Michael Jordan at 32,292, and then Kevin Durant at 31,562.
Yeah, I think he get top 3.
Top 3? Yeah, I could see top 3 if he could play. I think if he could play maybe like 3-4 years, I think he could do it. Kevin Durant is a consistent scorer. I mean, he's one of the best of all time. So congratulations to KD, man, for real. One of the best. You had something else to say?
No, I was just saying, yeah, for sure, I agree.
Oh, okay. Next up, my question to you is like, look, we got the Bucks 17-24. They're a game out of the play-in, and we also have the Clippers at 18-23. They're obviously 1 seed away from the play-in. They're out of the play-in. My question to you is, who do you trust more to make the playoffs, the Bucks or the Clippers?
You said it's Clippers or Cleveland?
The Clippers and the Bucks. They're both one spot out of the play-in. They're both at the 11th seed in their conferences.
Oh man, I don't know. I guess.
Here, I'll say this. Here, I'll do this. For the Clippers, who's ahead of him? You got the Memphis Grizzlies, Portland Trailblazers, Golden State Warriors. Those are the 3 that's ahead of them. And then for the Bucks, you got the Hawks, Bulls, and Miami Heat.
I guess the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I trust Giannis more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go with the Bucks. And the path, I think, is easier to get through than what the Clippers got to go through. I mean, say what you want about Golden State. I know they're old, but, they're still a viable threat to get into the play-in. Portland, they're a young ascending team with a lot of young pieces. And what was the other team?
Got the Heat, Bulls, and Hawks. Yeah.
There was another team on the West. What was the other team on the West?
Oh, the West, you had the Warriors, Trailblazers, and Grizzlies.
And then, I trust the Bucks. I trust the Bucks. Bulls, they still trying to figure themselves out. They was talking about trading for AD at one point, and trying to get new players on there. And I don't know. They've always, I don't know. The Bulls have kind of been in like this little spot where they're just like not ascending, but they're not descending. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
So give me the Bucks.
I would have said the Clippers, but now Kawhi is having knee issues again, so I can't say the Clippers a little bored, man. I'll say the Clippers were playing a better ball between the two, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks, man. I don't like both of these teams, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Shout out to Ty Lue, though, man. Shout out to Ty. A couple more. Obviously, Rich Paul, he has a new podcast with Max Kellerman. It's definitely been very, very intriguing. Obviously, he's been getting some heat for being on this podcast, knowing that he's probably the number 1 agent in the NBA currently right now. So he responded to those saying that he should not have a podcast. Quote, "This is Podcast Paul. I'm not an agent on this show because agents aren't allowed to have podcasts. Just call me an agent for the hour. Just don't call me an agent for the hour I'm on this show." Quotes. What do you how do you?
Rich, but you be streamlining what LeBron be thinking on your podcast, bro. Don't try to put. We ain't dumb, man. You be on there just throwing shit out there. It's just like, at the end of the day, I can sit up here and turn. Oh, you're not the agent right now, but you are an agent, bro. That's your title, and you come off as an agent when you talking on this show.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. If I don't know, we was on this podcast and Maul was a well-known real estate agent, and he just kept going on here streamlining how he thought about the housing market. We can't turn off the fact that he's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he keep talking about how he, well, this house is the interest rates are this way, and da 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 da. And that's what Paul just keep doing. Well, I think this should trade for this guy, and this guy, and Lakers, and it's like, bro, Rich, you're too prominent of an agent. It'd be different if you was some agent that we didn't know about.
Right.
If you was just like, you was just some small agent, maybe got a couple clients here and there, whatever. But you are Rich Paul. You are LeBron James' best friend that you grew up with. You ain't just some regular agent, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what kills me. They be wanting to have the statue, but then when it's negative, they don't want it no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just cut it out, Rich Paul. We knew that this was coming when you was announced as having a podcast. It was like, I don't know how this is gonna work, but whatever.
Look, man, I like Rich, man. I like what
he's a good dude.
done. I think what he's done, taking the opportunity that LeBron gave him and running with it and accomplishing what he's done. I'm not gonna mess with him on that. But Paul, come on, man, who you fooling? Don't call me an agent for an hour. I'm on this show. Brother. You're an agent. Just because you're on that show don't mean you're not an agent. You're an agent, brother. We can't say that. All right, man. That's gonna be kind of it for NBA, but I will save my last one at the end of the show because we are getting the announcements of all the All-Star starters for this year. Shams just tweeted out the Eastern. I'm waiting on the Western. Once he tweets that out, I'll wait till the end of the show. We'll announce those, and then we'll get our thoughts about that.
For sure. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
All right, man, let's talk about, man. Big game today, college football national championship in Miami, Hard Rock Stadium. It is going down as the Indiana Hoosiers face the Miami Hurricanes. We all know both teams took kind of a different path to get here. Indiana pretty much steamrolled everybody they face to get here, from Ohio or Alabama to Oregon, and they just ran through their competition. Whereas in Miami was a different path. Now they did steamroll Ohio State, and they had a pretty close one with Ole Miss too. Ole Miss, it came down to the wire. But you know, here they are, both teams. Look, Indiana, we all know what they represent with the Kurt Cinetti, Fernando Mendoza, who is the consensus #1 overall pick this year. You know, Cinetti has built this team up. We saw, you know, last year, you know, they made the playoffs, but they just didn't have the right, you know, they just wasn't there yet with the players that they were soon to get in the transfer portal, especially Fernando Mendoza. And you just see a whole brand new team this year where they just more equipped with the players that they got, and they've been steamrolling through competition. Even the close games that they face, they pulled it out at the end. You know what I'm saying? With the Big Ten championship against Ohio State. There was a few other games where they had to pull it out and they end up winning. So, and whereas Miami, they've kind of had an up and down season. They started off strong, then they kind of had a dip in the middle. Then at the end, they kind of, they were fine. They didn't make their ACC championship, but with the loss of Virginia, they end up getting into the playoffs, and that's why they're here now. So, for me, I think this game comes down to the trenches, man. Like, what team in the trenches, who's gonna win that war? You know what I'm saying? We already know that Miami has two players that are, one of them's a consistent top 10 pick in Ruben Bain. You got Akeem Mesidor, who's a lot of people maybe that he'll get picked in the back half of the first round. Maybe he's a top second round pick, in the interior. Can those guys get penetration to affect Fernando Mendoza and maybe cost him to turn the football over? Maybe he throws a pick or fumbles the football. Can they affect that running game too in the trenches too? Because if Indiana just has their way like they've been having, then it's gonna be a long night for Miami. And then on the offensive end, can the playmakers make enough plays on Miami to keep up with Indiana? We all know that Kurt Cinetti, he runs a tight ship over there. And the one thing that's great about Indiana and their secret powers to me is that they're efficient. They don't make mistakes. They don't get out of sight of themselves. They always they do the right stuff. They're very disciplined. They're not disciplined, whereas Miami is undisciplined. As a matter of fact, Miami is the most penalized team in college football this season. So you're talking about discipline versus undisciplined, and that can lose you football games too, because if Miami is having too many penalties, false starts, that's stalling out drives, or illegal shifts or holding or pass interference, anything like that, that's going to booster up Indiana and give them a chance to score or get a stop, it's going to hurt Miami in this game. So they're going to have to be efficient. That's on Cristobal. He's going to have to coach these guys up enough to keep them disciplined. And then even if they do get down, can Carson Beck will them back into this game? Can he make the plays when he needs to make the plays? Because he's going to have to. He cannot revert back into that Georgia Carson Beck in prime time where he'll turn over the ball, interceptions, just because this can get ugly fast if he does. We've seen that from this Indiana team. We saw that in the Oregon game when Moore and them, they just could not get out their own way. And next thing you know, it's 35-7. Mm-hmm. So we all know the stars are going to be out. All the Miami alumni is going to be there, from Ray Lewis to we all know Michael Irvin is going to be out there, and Clinton Portis might be out there. You name the Miami past superstar for Hurricanes and be out there. We might see The Rock out there. So it's going to be crazy out there. The scenery is going to be lit, and we forget that Fernando Mendoza's from Miami too. So he's going to have a lot of family and friends out there too. So, but I'm picking Indiana in this game. I think Indiana is just a better team. I do think that Miami does pose some things as far as Malachi Toney. I think he's a special talent, and I think Indiana knows that. So I think they're going to try to double team him and make everybody else beat him. But if Miami can hold them into the fourth quarter, they have a very good chance. But I think Indiana is just a better team, and I got them winning. I'm gonna go 35-24.
Yeah. Early reports that I've seen says that Indiana has taken over Miami. That's early reports that I've heard. From what I've heard from people who are currently out there, they said there's a lot of Indiana fans out there. They've been seeing Indiana flags waving around on the beaches. I'm sure Indiana's enjoying the Miami sun and enjoying all that, getting out that Indiana weather. So I'll say this. My top three things that Miami needs to do if they want to have any chance to win this game, minus obviously controlling the time clock, obviously winning the turnover battle. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the players on the field. Right. Number one, is that defensive line getting penetration against that Indiana O-line. That is the number one thing they need to do, because they need to find a way to get Fernando Mendoza off his rhythm. My man is cooking. He 41 TDs, 6 interceptions. The consistency, this is why he is the number one player, obviously. And then also they got to find a way to contain Fernando Mendoza from scrambling. People got to stop underestimating Mendoza's actual skills, man. This man can move. He can move. He showed that. He showed that against Ohio State. He showed that against Indiana. I think that's a big key right there. Number 2, Mark Fletcher needs to have a really good game. He's really been one of the key players. I know a lot of people I love Malachi Tony, but people sleep on what Mark Fletcher has meant to this Miami team. He's been consistent with the running game. He's been a powerful back who's consistently averaged like 4.5 to 5 yards every kind of run that he's been able to do, at least from what I've seen. I don't know the official numbers, but that's what it's kind of looked like to me. And then obviously, last but not least, Carson Beck has to have a clean game. Clean game. We need to get the Carson Beck that we saw this last past game, that he looked pretty good, making key plays, not doing too much, just doing what he needs to do to kind of keep the momentum going for this offensive side. I think those 3 things, they have a shot. I think they have a shot. Obviously, if this defense can get any penetration on this great O-line that Indiana has, they have an excellent shot. Talent-wise, you can honestly say that talent-wise, Miami might be better talent-wise, because we got to remember, Indiana doesn't have a lot of 4 stars. I think they only have like a total of 8 4+ stars on this squad. So it's a lot of guys who were eventually 3. Now, obviously, I think the veteranship that this Indiana team has, I think, says a lot. So a lot of these guys who weren't 4 stars are probably like 4 or 5 stars currently right now. But, so obviously that could be a little different. But talent-wise, man, I think Miami is probably a little bit more talented on this team. They have a shot. I still think Indiana is the better team. I agree with you. I trust Signetti more than I trust the Miami head coach. We've seen him. Cristobal. We've seen him many times mess games up when they had control. I do think this game is going to be closer than what people assume, but I do think Indiana will kind of like just at the last, get a ceiling touchdown that kind of puts them up in double digits, winning by 10. I can see a situation where it's like a 30. I'm gonna go 30-20 Indiana. I think they win. I think Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami maybe hits them in the mouth a little bit quick first. Maybe put Malachi Tony. We kind of saw with Rashid Shaheed with the Seahawks. Maybe put Malachi Tony back there for the kickoff if you were to receive, and just see what he can do. See if he can spark some kind of explosion, give you kind of like a Devin Hester moment, get the touchdown, and kind of start off kind of quick. Maybe that might be an option for them. So, but yeah, I'm going Indiana 30-10.
All right, for sure. Should be a goodie, man. Hopefully, it's a good game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man. Let's do our Bet US Surefire picks, man.
Let's do it.
All right, man. What you got?
All right, man. We got some good MLK hoops, man, to get us through before the national championship game. So, start off, we got the Thunder and Cavs playing. I got the Thunder -6 against the Cavs. Obviously, no Jalen Williams. He hurt his hamstring. He got a hamstring strain. But the Thunder look like they've gotten their groove back. Shea, MVP status. Chet looking really good. Some of the younger guys, man, they've been playing really good. So I got the Thunder. And I got them covering the 6 against the Cavs. We got the Clippers visiting the Wizards today. I got the Clippers -7. Even without Kawhi Leonard, I still think the Clippers should be able to win this game with the Wizards. Wizards are a very young team. They made a trade with Trae Young, but obviously Trae Young is not playing. So I'm going to take the Clippers -7. And then we got the big game tonight, Pistons versus Celtics, 1 versus 3. I'm gonna take the Pistons -3, man. I just think they've been the best team in the East. I don't think it's been a question with that. Cade, I think he's heading into MVP trajectory as well. Jalen Duren playing pretty well. I'm gonna go with Pistons. I'm gonna take them covering the 3.
For sure. I'm gonna take the over in the game, Indiana Miami game. I'll take the over 47.5. I think that gets there. I'm gonna take the Sixers -7 over the Pacers. I just think the Pacers are not a good team. So
no, they're not. They're not. They are tanking their asses off. But
they're trying to get Darren Peterson, old boy from BYU.
AJ.
And then I got the Pistons -3 also over the Celtics too. I just think they're at home, and I think that it's gonna be a good game, but I think Cade and them gonna pull it out.
Yeah.
So, if you go to any of our social media, you see the link for the Bet US website. Go ahead and click on it. First time users only. You sign up. You put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% sign-in bonus plus 10% gamblers insurance because they got other things on the website. That is 3 risk-free bets of $100 up to $5,000. That means if you deposit $100 on your first 3 deposit and you lose, you keep your money. So you can win some money, or you can go over there and keep your money on your first 3 deposits. If you lose, so go ahead, sign up. Tell them Cris Style and Mal sent you. And that does it for our Bet US Surefire picks. All right, man. Play a little game. So me and you was talking yesterday, and after the CJ Stroud game, and he didn't play particularly well. Now we'll get into more detail than that. So I figured, we have our displeasure with the way he played and how we view him now. So, and we saw how the post game conferences went with him. Will Anderson speaking up for him, and DeMeco Ryan speaking up for him, saying that that's their quarterback, all that good stuff. So I asked you, I'm going to name some quarterbacks, and I'm going to ask you, would you rather have CJ Stroud or this quarterback?
Let's do it.
All right, man. First up, would you rather have CJ Stroud or Tua turn the ball over?
Ugh. This is nasty work. I know what I said yesterday. I know, look, man, I'm gonna still go with CJ. I just think he's the bigger quarterback. I think he's the one I could trust maybe a little bit more. I'm not a fan of either one of these guys currently right now, but I would still take CJ.
Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud?
No, Trevor Lawrence, bro. Trevor Lawrence, sunshine. He showed a lot this year. He showed some growth. Obviously, we need to see the consistency of him, but I'm gonna take Trevor Lawrence 10 out of 10 over CJ Stroud.
Bo Nix.
I'm taking Bo. I'm taking Bo over CJ Stroud. I get it. Bo Nix has shown he's also had his inconsistencies as well, slow starts and all that. But I think the thing with Bo Nix is he shows a little bit more fire for me, and he shows a little bit more as far as like in the heat of the moments he shows and he performs. I haven't really seen that too much from CJ Stroud, so I'm gonna take Bo.
Geno Smith or CJ Stroud?
God, no. Give me CJ, bro. Geno's ass. Geno's terrible, bro. Geno's terrible, and I know why he put that in there because he already knew the reaction he was gonna get. There's no chance in hell I'm picking Geno Smith at all. I'll take Tua over Geno Smith, bro. Nah. Give me CJ.
I was just checking the temperature.
I'll take Davis Mills over Geno Smith.
JJ McCarthy or CJ Stroud?
Damn, you're an asshole for this.
Why am I an asshole?
I'm just joking, brother. Damn. I'm gonna have to go CJ, bro. JJ. At least I seen something from CJ. I seen a year of that. I haven't seen nothing from JJ at all. So I'm gonna take CJ Stroud.
His best friend Bryce Young or CJ Stroud?
I'm gonna take Bryce. I know he's the smaller quarterback, but I've seen a lot from Bryce. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of things he still needs to work on, but I think he has a little moxie to him that I don't think CJ Stroud has. So I'm gonna go with Bryce.
Kyler Murray or CJ Stroud?
I'm taking my guy Kyler Murray, man. I know he gets a lot of heat because people think he just plays Call of Duty. He don't care about football. And I get it, man. He has shown a lot of inconsistencies, turning the ball over, miscommunications with the offense. You feel like he should be growth, but there's still a lot of potential there. I know he's a smaller quarterback, but I just like the talent that I think he has a better arm than CJ Stroud. I think he has better mobility than CJ Stroud. I just think there's some there that is still untapped. So I'm gonna still take Kyler Murray over CJ.
Michael Penix or CJ Stroud?
I'll take CJ, just the fact that I can't trust Penix's body. If he was way more healthier, I would take Penix, but with those knees, he's had so many knee injury problems since college. I just can't do it. I can't trust his body.
Malik Willis or CJ Stroud?
Currently, right now, I'll take Malik Willis. Malik Willis has shown growth. He's shown a lot. Now, could it be just because he's in the Matt LaFleur system? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I like what I've seen from Malik Willis. I think he deserves to have a starting opportunity if possible. And I'm going to give it to Malik. Yeah, for sure.
Daniel Jones or CJ Stroud?
This one's tough. Like, if we're just going just without his injuries currently right now, I would probably say Daniel Jones for sure. But with that Achilles and then he had the broken ankle and all that, I guess I'm still go with Daniel Jones. I'm gonna still go with Daniel Jones, man. I'm gonna still go with Daniel Jones. I've seen it from him. Hopefully he can bounce back from that Achilles.
Chad Powers, you got one.
Uncle Rico over CJ.
Last not least, Mac Jones or CJ Stroud.
Oh, Mac Jones. I'm taking Mac Jones over CJ. I don't think it's close. He's falling off, man. I used to have high regard from CJ Stroud, but this past, I would say 2 years have shown me that something's just not right with CJ. I don't know.
I think that, and I was listening to Shannon Sharp talk about it too, and I totally agree. I've been said this. I just think he was drinking the Kool-Aid too much. After his rookie season, he talking about he a top 5 quarterback. Like, even if you feel that way, you had 1 year, brother, in the NFL. You gotta be a little bit more humble.
And you keep, and even you keep showing up. You keep showing me the clip of him kind of like sunning Caleb a little bit. And that was kind of a cringe look and stuff like that.
It just was like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Just get better. And I'm like, dog, you a rookie.
You suck. You're not playing good right now, brother.
Well, it's your second year, dog. What are we doing here, man?
Well, this is his third year. That was last year when that happened. That was last year when that happened.
Yeah, it was like, bro, what are you doing, man? Yeah. Well, cut it out. Like, and it's just like he had a good rookie year, and all of a sudden he was acting like he a 5-year, 6-year veteran. It's just been MVPs and Super Bowls, and it's just like I just think he drunk the Kool-Aid. This offseason, he need to take a step back. I don't know if it's the circle around him. I don't know if it's the people. I don't know, but he need to take a step back and he need to work on his game.
He need to do something because this could be his last year. Like I know they're probably gonna give him the maybe that 5th year, but it's gonna be his last year, man. If he doesn't perform, and he just I don't know, it's something about him. Like he just doesn't like even when those games when he was those turnovers were being made. It's just like he didn't seem like he just had the fight. Like it looked like he had the quit in his eyes to me in a sense. Like just like some of the throws that he did were just so I've never seen throws like that bad. Like he was throwing Tim Tebow balls. Respectfully, he was throwing some bad interceptions. He was having some bad turnovers. He was having some bad mental mistakes, just throwing the ball up in the air while you're getting sacked. Like consistently, like brother, you were bailed out in that Steelers game because of your defense, and you should have learned from your mistakes. And yet you did the same thing, probably even worse, the second week. Going up against this Patriots defense and it's just like I feel bad for that defense, and I get the guys are going to defend him because I'm sure that he's a very likable kid. I'm sure they love him as a person, but when you stand back and you look at the QBs that are in this league, does he even crack the top 20 right now? Does he even crack the top 20 right now? Hell, you got some backups that look way better than you, brother. You got some backups that look way better.
There was one on his team that looked better than him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That team looked way better when he came in. So I don't know, man. Like if I'm the Texans, I get it. It's gonna be kind of tough. Like I think they should be in the QB market in the offseason, man. Obviously, there's nobody in the draft that you can get, but you could potentially get a Malik Willis. You could potentially get a Mac Jones. You could potentially trade for a Kyler Murray. Like there is opportunities to upgrade your team, or you can maybe even call the Falcons and see what's up with Kirk Cousins for a year and kind of see and then transition to next year where you can actually get some talent. But do you really want to waste this defense on CJ Stroud? No, you don't.
I think that the organization is going to give him 1 more year.
No, I think they will.
And if he messes up in 1 more year, he's out of there, and we're on to the draft for 2027. So, I
wouldn't be surprised if they start to look bad. They may trade some of those offensive assets to get more picks so they can trade up, depending on where they spot it at. Because I think this defense is too good for them to be a top 10 pick. You know what I mean? I think this defense is too good. Now, obviously, we don't know how injuries are going to kind of play out next year. It goes on a year by year thing, but this is a talented team. We see maybe obviously we expect Joe Mixon to be back next year, even though Woody Marks did look good. So we'll see. Nico, obviously him not having Nico, and I know there's been kind of conversations about Ryan Clark and his comments at halftime about CJ Stroud and him kind of being the defensive CJ Stroud. It's like, I get it. Like, I'll be the first one to always try to back somebody up in the sense of like, maybe it's just unfair criticism, but this ain't that. I get it. He didn't have Nico, and I get it. He struggled, but this has been a long standing thing for the last 2 years, even when this team was fully healthy. So this isn't based on one game and him not having players. This is based on like what we've been seeing, the trend of the last 2 years after his successful rookie year.
Yeah, he's been I pitched him a little bell last year because of the offensive line. The offensive line was just horrid. Yeah. It hasn't been, great this year, but it's been a lot better than what, he had last year. And, possibly they make some improvements like on that interior offensive line, maybe be a little bit better. But he's been the sole reason why they've lost these games. Yes. He's been the sole reason that they're not moving on to the AFC Championship. Like, real talk. Like, that defense did so much. And we said it yesterday. He needed to give half his salary to that defense because they just kept keeping him in the game, keeping him in the game. We'll talk about the game in a minute, but it's just, man.
And this offense should be way more explosive. It's not like they don't have talent on this offensive side. You got talent on this offensive. You got the Higgins. You got Nico.
Collins. He could be Woody, a top 5 wide receiver. Right
Schultz, now. Like what are we talking about, man? And then obviously they didn't have Tank Dell, and hopefully he's able. I'm rooting for that brother. Hopefully he's able to come back because he was having a very promising career before his brutal injury. But this team is not devoted of talent on the offensive side. This team should be way more explosive than what they are. You have a top 8 receiver. What happened?
I guess.
What?
Detroit Lions are working to finalize a deal to hire former Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing as their next offensive coordinator.
Detroit Lions?
Yes.
All right. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions fans. Let us know how you feel about that. Let us know, man. Where the Lions fans at, man?
I guess. All right, man. Let's do our off season. We got the NFC West today.
Yeah.
Currently, 2 of them are in the NFC Championship. So I'll kick it off with I'll start with the Rams. Look, they gotta fix the secondary. They got to get some viable players in that secondary. I'm not liking their corners. Their corners seem like they've been a liability, even though their defense played pretty well yesterday. I still think there's a lot to be desired in that cornerback room. Ever since they lost Jalen Ramsey, they haven't had a top guy. I like their safeties. I like Curl. I like Kitchens. I like both of them. I think both of them are really good safeties, but they need some cornerback help, whether it be by a trade or they need to go in the draft and really, get a good corner to help out on that back end. They got to figure out what they're going to do as far as quarterback goes. Excuse me, because let's say the Rams win the Super Bowl. Does Matthew Stafford ride off in the sunset and say, yeah, all right, I got my 2 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to be in the history books now as one of the best quarterbacks ever. I'm going to go do something else. Or let's say they lose this weekend and he's like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I don't want to do training camp. I don't want to have to go through a whole new season. I don't want to do this. So now they got to figure out quarterback. So do you go get a Mac Jones? Do you go get a Malik Willis? Do you go get one of these guys that show promise and bring them over? Kirk Cousins, somebody like that. Or do they go in the draft and maybe they like Ty Simpson? Maybe they like Carson back after today's game. Maybe he shows some stuff. Like they got to make some decisions next year. Some of the personnel with the guys getting older, even Devontae Adams, even though he's still a really good wide receiver, he's still an older guy. And he might be like, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got to get another weapon opposite of Puka Nacua. So they got some personnel decisions they got to make. I think Sean McVay is going to be fine. He ain't going nowhere. He might lose some people on his staff because that's the price of when you're, looked at as one of the better coaches in this league. People want people from your coaching staff. So we'll see what happened with Nate Shieldhouse, with what's his name? Is it Mike LaFleur?
Mm-hmm.
The offensive coordinator for the Rams. He might get a job somewhere else as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Either one of them could be head coaches somewhere else. So he might lose some people on that staff. So we'll see how that works out, how that looks. You know what I'm saying? It's still his system. So at the end of the day, the Rams are going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? But still, they got to make some decisions as far as the team goes and the coaching staff goes. And they got to fix that defensive back end. Because I think the defensive line is fine. Even though the defensive line has had its ups and downs this season, it hasn't been as dominant as we thought they were going to be. Jared Verse, I think he kind of took a step back this year. He wasn't as, viable as we thought he was going to be. Like, I looked at Jared Verse like he was supposed to be Will Anderson. Almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he hasn't shown that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe
who knows?
maybe he's hurt. You know what I'm saying? And he could take that step forward next year. You know what I'm saying? Or he shows some things in these, next game and in the Super Bowl if they make it. So, I still think he's a talented young man. It's just him taking a step forward, but also adding to this defensive line too. You know what I'm saying? Get some other younger guys, even though it's a young defensive line, but definitely add some cornerback help to help these corners out, these safeties out. Because like I said, I love their safeties. So as far as the Seahawks go, probably they're probably gonna have to bring Kenneth Walker back now because we just got the news that Charbonnet, he tore his ACL. So he's gonna be out. And that's huge for them because they're a viable dual 1-2 punch. So you're probably gonna have to bring Kenneth Walker back. Yeah, they're probably gonna franchise tag dude. So just to try to work a deal out. So you might have to add another running back because we don't know when Zach Charbonnet is gonna come back because this is late in the season. So we don't know when he's coming back. That could be mid-season. He might miss a whole year. We never know. So weapon wise, I mean, you got JSN. He's still. He's showed that he's one of the better wide receivers in this league. You might need to see what you got on the other side. Now, Rashid Shaheed, he'll be in his second year fully off season with Seattle. So possibly that, could make him the number 2 guy to JSN. Maybe Cooper Kupp. We'll see if he still wants to play after this season. Maybe he rides off in the sunset and retire himself, especially if they win the Super Bowl. Now he has 2 rings, so maybe he like, I already got my 2 rings, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe you get some more weapons on that. Defensively, I mean, their defense is really good. They have one of the better defenses. I mean, I guess you could just add some pieces here and there, maybe on the back end, maybe get a little bit more consistent pass rush on that defensive line. I think their defensive line is good, but I don't think it's great. I think it could be had. You know what I'm saying? So maybe add something to this offensive line too for Sam Darnold, But outside of that, I think that they're in a good space. So, they keep doing what they're doing. Mark McDonald is still one of the best coaches, or Mike McDonald is still one of the best coaches in the NFL. So San Francisco, get healthy.
Have you seen the reports about the substation near them? That could be the cause of a lot of their injuries because of the I think like the energy waves. It could deteriorate the blood cells in the body and stuff like that. Look it up. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's literally like right next to their practice facility in their in the stadium.
Got the upside down right next to their damn facility.
Yeah,
taking
shit like that.
The Vecna taking all their blood. No. But Well, like I said, they got to figure that part out. They got to figure something out because it's just every year they deal with this. You know what I'm saying? They got their answers a little bit with Brock Purdy. I still have my hesitations with Brock Purdy. I think he's a good quarterback. I do think he is. But there is some times where it's just like, man, yeah, you can't be throwing those interceptions, dog. Like, so he got to get better in that. But you know what I'm saying? He's still their quarterback. I'm not mad at it. CMC, he's getting older. He had a good season, but just like the divisional round or last week, what was he on? He was on that little bike trying to get the hamstrings right. And we know you cringe every time CMC go down. It's like, he gonna get back up. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So he's not, a stranger to injuries. So it might be time to find a heir apparent to CMC in this draft or in the offseason. Something, you might have to because he's getting older, and the older running backs, they get hurt more once they get older. So that's something that they're gonna have to look into. Defensively or offensively, they're gonna have to figure out their wide receiver position. What you gonna do with Brandon Ayuk? Can that be mended, or is he done? Do you just get rid of him, get him off your team, and then who's your number one? Is it Juwan Jennings? Are you gonna make Juwan Jennings your top guy? Is it Ricky Purcell? Is Ricky Purcell going to be your top guy? Because both of those guys have shown, talent. They've shown clutch, genes when they needed them. But are you going to make those two guys your foundation as far as your wide receiver group? And then Kittle ain't getting no younger either, and he's injury prone. And now he tore his Achilles, and Achilles is worse from coming back than the ACL tear. Right. Now you're dealing with the foot. So and he's an older guy. Do you like what you saw in Tunges? I like what I saw from the kid. I think he has a future as far as being a tight end for them. I don't think he's Kittle, but I think he's a good tight end. So you're going to have to figure that part out. You know what I'm saying? As far as the 49ers go defensively, Nick Bosa ain't getting no younger, and he's a little injury prone himself. This ain't the first time he dealt with injuries. Like he's in and out of the lineup every year. So he's kind of like TJ Watt. Like they just in and out of the lineup. Very good, great players when they're in there, very clutch. And when they're healthy, hey man, you want Nick Bosa on your side. You know what I'm saying? You may not agree with some of his political views, but you know what I'm saying? But you love him as a player. But you're gonna have to figure that out because like I said, you might, if you want to get some more draft picks, maybe you could trade him off or something because he just continuously gets hurt. Over and over again every year. We're hearing the report about Nick Bosa and his legs or his arms or something wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something to look into. Fred Warner, I think he'll be fine.
I think he probably could have played this week if they. I'm surprised he didn't try to at least give it a go. You know what I mean? I know they wanted to kind of give him one more week, but he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. But you do need to find somebody else viable next to him. Just in case he goes down again. And then for the life of me, I've always said this about the 49ers. They got to fix that secondary.
Yeah.
Like that has always been the liability for their defense. I've always thought their front seven was good. And Charvarius Ward was actually a really good corner for them. I never understood why they let him go. But they got to figure that out. They got to get a corner over there that can help them. That could at least shut down the side.
Trent McDuffie.
Hey, if they want to give us some picks,
or maybe Jalen Ramsey if they can get him away from Pittsburgh.
Something, but they need to they gotta get fixed that back end up because that's always been a kind of a liability for the 49ers for me. So their front seven has always been good. It's always been the corners. Safeties are pretty solid, but their corners are always kind of like, they're cool. But they ain't got one that can shut down the side, or you at least trust that guy on that side to be on the number one guy and get some stops or whatever. So they definitely got to fix that. So Arizona. Well, first they need to find a head coach. Start there. And then they got to figure out what they're gonna do with Kyler Murray, man. Are you done with him officially? Now, you know what I'm saying? You shut him down last year. There was reports that he was healthy, he was ready to go, but y'all never brought him back. and y'all just went with Jacoby Brissett. Y'all got young talent over there. You know what I'm saying? With Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. He's looking like the best tight end right now. And then you got Michael Wilson, who's looking like a very good number 2 wide receiver there. So your receiving core is nice. You know what I'm saying? Nice. Hopefully, maybe we'll see what happens with James Conner. Do they bring him back, or do they go full go with Trey Benson, or do they find another running back? Because we like Trey Benson coming out of college, but he hasn't shown that what we saw in college. So maybe he takes a step forward. I don't know. But they got to figure out their quarterback situation. Defensively, you got some pieces over there. Walter Nolan, you got Buda Baker, Will Johnson, who looks like he's going to be a very good corner. They got pieces over there. They just got to, like I said, they got to figure out the most important position, and that's quarterback. Do they go into next year with a Jacoby Brissett and just say, bump it, we looking for the future of 2027, or do they go in there and be like, hey, let's go get Mac Jones, or let's go get a Malik Willis, and let's see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he can come over here and hold it down for our quarterback position. We got the weapons around him. We fixed this offensive line through the draft, you know what I'm saying, to give him some time, and maybe we can, get something going over here. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they hire, somebody who, knows how to use Malik. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what they do at the quarterback position. So, but yeah, those are my offseason needs and moves and stuff. NFC West.
Nah, for sure. I'll go through mine. Because a lot of what you said, I obviously agree with what you said. So I ain't gonna go too long. But the Seattle Seahawks, obviously, just continue to add depth to this team. Obviously, I would love to see them maybe get an elite tight end to add on this offense. That could probably open this offense up a little bit more. Obviously, with the injuries that they do have on that running back position, obviously, I would like to see them add a little bit more depth, because I don't think Charbonnet will be a part of this team next year. I'm not saying he's not going to be on a roster, but in the sense of just that with that injury, he may not be ready until maybe playoff time. But even then, it's just like, add some depth, because we know Kenneth Walker has looked really, really amazing, but he has had his injury problems. And with them going into next year, they're going to have to add some depth to that. Obviously, I would like to see them maybe add some depth to this defensive line for sure. I agree with you. They have a lot of promise, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to add a rotation. We see with the Philadelphia Eagles, if you have a healthy rotation of guys, it gives guys a little bit more breather, and then obviously able to perform at higher levels for a longer period of time. So, and then I think their linebacker core is cool. You can obviously upgrade that, and then obviously the back end. But overall, I think the Seahawks are set up for long success. Especially with Sam Darnold, it looks like he kind of got over the confidence bump of these big time games. He's been performing very, very well. So I think Seattle's pretty much fine heading into the future, especially with their head coach, man. Mike McDonald might have been the steal of last year's coaching tree. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, you got to figure out what's up next for Matthew Stafford, whether they win the Super Bowl or not. Do they convince him to stay another year? Obviously, that's a big question. Obviously, you would like to see them obviously upgrade that back end. Could they potentially ask about maybe getting a reunion with Jalen Ramsey? Could they maybe potentially call your Chiefs and ask about Trent McDuffie, or maybe some other teams that might have some availability? Maybe they call the Titans for Snead and something. You know what I mean? See what's up. And then
I didn't think of that.
What?
The L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, if he's healthy,
he's healthy, like he's performing. Like I think that would be, and then obviously it wouldn't cost that much compared to like a Trent McDuffie or Jalen Ramsey. So I think that's something to look at. You know what I mean? And then obviously offensively they're amazing. You still got Puka, you still got Devontae Adams. I agree with you with the coaching situation. Obviously, I think they're going to lose some people, maybe not all, because there are a lot of positions open, but there are a lot of great head coaches out there as well. But there could be some change. Obviously, there will be some change on this coaching staff. But I agree with you, Sean McVay. He's running like a factory out there of head coaches. So I think they'll be fine. San Francisco 49ers, look, man, it all comes down to health, man. This team this team is usually the most injury riddled team every year, minus maybe a couple years, but I would love to see them add another linebacker because I feel like with this defense, anytime they've had two like elite linebackers, this defense has played very, very well. You know what I mean? You have Fred Warner, then you what's my man's name who hurt his Achilles? What was my man's name in the Super Bowl?
Damn.
The linebacker. What was his name? I think he
went to Greenlaw.
Yeah, when they had Greenlaw and Fred Warner, man, that was like their defense was amazing. Even with the problems that they had on that back end, just with those two guys, I thought they were an elite defense. Obviously, with that front four as well. I think if they can add another elite linebacker, this would help. Obviously, you definitely want to add some additions to that back end because they've lost a lot. Again, there are names out there that you could potentially try to trade for because this team is Super Bowl ready, it's Super Bowl bound. I know you kind of had your comments about Brock Purdy, but I think he showed me a lot this year, especially with all the injuries and them being able to get where they were. Obviously, with the injuries just kind of bit them in the ass going into that Seattle game, and they were just overwhelmed from the start. So I think they'll be fine. Obviously, I agree with you. Christian McCaffrey, he is getting older. I wouldn't mind them looking at some younger guys, like, still keep him around, but obviously he can be the guy to kind of help the next guy to come in and be the proper running back because Christian McCaffrey is one of the all-time greatest running backs, that we've seen consistently. But you just got to get air out of caution with his injury past. And then last but not least, the Arizona Cardinals. Like, look, they just got to find a new culture. You know what I mean? They need to build for the future. Don't look at this as the hare, be the tortoise. Take your time, establish some new cultures, add some talent to this roster. I love some of the players that you have with Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson. You got Trey McBride, who can easily be considered the best tight end next to a Brock Bowers or something like that. He's performing very, very well. You have a couple pieces on that defensive side. Obviously, you need to add some more depth. But again, with this team, it's just adding culture, build an identity on who you want to be. Obviously, I think a trade for Kyle Murray is inevitable. There should be teams that should be asking for Kyle Murray. We even kind of talked about it. Maybe the Texans might be that team. Maybe the Minnesota Vikings. They're maybe the Atlanta Falcons. There are teams that are out there that could potentially do it. Maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not knowing what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. New York Jets. Obviously, they're not going to get a quarterback this year. Maybe they can look at Kyle Murray and be kind of like that stopgap going into the following year. Some Miami Dolphins, whatever. Just find a trade partner for him. Try to get the best assets for that, and just build this team for the long haul, man. It's going to be a long grind, especially in this division. This division isn't going anywhere. It's very you got San Francisco. They're going to be healthier. Rams are going to they'll be fine. Seahawks, they'll remain the same. Just they got to kind of build it up. So just take your time, man. Make sure you get it right. Make sure you get a head coach that is going to be a part of this long haul for 4 to 5 years, because that's how long it's probably going to take for this team to get back to being somewhat relevant. And then just kind of go from there. So,
for sure. All right, man. Like you said before, the NBA All-Star teams have been announced. On the West, we got Luka Doncic, we got Nikola Jokic, we got Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama. And on the East, we got Giannis, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Cade Cunningham, and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about these All-Star announcements, sir? Did they get it right? Did somebody get snubbed?
No, I think for the most part they got it right. Jalen Brunson, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Everybody has to remember, like, the East looks a little weird because you have four guards on there, and with Giannis Antetokounmpo. But people gotta remember, this is US versus the world. So I think you're gonna have like 3 different teams or something, like 3 or 4 different teams. That's part of this. But overall, I think for starters wise, I think they got it right. Jalen Brunson has been a key catalog to the Knicks and their success. Giannis Antetokounmpo is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Tyrese Maxey has looked like one of the best young guards in this league for the last couple of years. He's rightfully deserving. Cade Cunningham, what can you say? He's taken the Detroit Pistons to being the best team in the East, being very viable to be an actual NBA title contender, and seeing what they're doing, man, is getting excitement out there in Detroit. And then Jaylen Brown, I would say the surprising one on this list, because people didn't understand like who he was going to be without Jason Tatum. Can he be the guy that can, like, we know he's an ultra talented defender and scorer, but could he be the guy that could lead a team into a top seed, into an actual title contender? And he's shown a lot, having this Celtics team who we all expected to have a kind of like a down year without Jason Tatum, to have them at the 3 seed. even though it's in a weak East, it's still a great showing for Jaylen Brown. So he's well deserving of that. On the West, Luka. I'm not mad. Luka has been playing really, really well, especially that early start to the year, man. He was putting some godly Wilt Chamberlain numbers, man. He was doing great things. So Luka definitely deserves it. Shea, like what more else can you say, man? He's my favorite player in the league, and he's been amazing, you know, with the number one team in the whole division. Nikola Jokic, it's Nikola. What are we saying? And then Victor Wembanyama. The only one I would have to second guess is Stephen Curry. I don't think Stephen Curry should be a starter. Now I have to look and kind of think about who should potentially take his spot in the West. I think you could put James Harden ahead of him. I think you could probably put Devin Booker ahead of him. Anthony Edwards, I think you could have ahead of him. Kevin Durant, I think you could have ahead of him. Like, I think that's kind of crazy that, like, honestly, yeah, Steph Curry is probably the one I would probably say is the most controversial. Like, I get it. People love Steph Curry, but I don't think he deserves to be a starter at all. There's a whole bunch of guys that should be ahead of him, and I named them. So get Stephen Curry the F out of here. I appreciate Steph, but he shouldn't be a starter, respectfully.
For sure. So how's this thing going to work again?
So it's U.S. versus the world. So obviously, you know, U.S. is going to have their set of players, and then the world would have, I think it's going to be two U.S. teams, 2 or 3 U.S. teams, and then you're going to have a world team or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. They haven't really given us I don't know what it's going to look like as far as like it's going to be a tournament based kind of system. So we'll see how it works.
So is it like last year's?
But the scoring last year was weird. I hated the way they did the scoring and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be kind of like, I don't know. We'll see, man. I don't know the whole details. We'll look it up, but we'll figure it out. But Steph Curry should not be a starter. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was just like, oh no, Steph should be on this list. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he should be on the list. He must, you know, I don't watch a lot of Golden State games, so maybe he's out there putting up 30 points a game. But
hell, LeBron should be over Steph in the West. Like, what are we talking about?
The change this point so many times it's confusing. Yeah. All right, for sure, man. Let's do our divisional round playoff recap. All right, man, let's talk about it. Game on Saturday, the Buffalo Bills faced off against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos end up winning in overtime 33-30. This was in the beginning, it was a kind of a defensive game. A lot of turnovers from Josh Allen. He had a interception. He had a fumble before the half. He had another interception, another fumble. But, you know, he made some plays when he needed to make some plays to get his team back into the game. He did miss Dawson Knox wide open in the end zone to win the game, pretty much. It was a walk-in touchdown. There was controversial on a few plays. The catch, was it a catch? Was it not a catch? That's always going to be talked about in this game. They were awarded it as an interception. That was a game changer right there. Also, the Tre'Davious White DPI, which pretty much sealed the deal for the game, and Buffalo ended up losing because of that. Denver kicked the field goal with Madness and ended up winning the game. We also learned that Bo Nix got hurt during that drive and fractured his foot. Had a broken fractured foot, and he's out for the season, so he will not be playing in the AFC Championship game. What are your overall thoughts of this game, sir?
My overall thoughts is that the Bills did get screwed, but at the same time, Josh Allen, he laid an egg. I just think in a situation where there are some calls that I thought were kind of egregious, I thought that was a catch. I don't know how else. Like they need to get true definition on what a catch is, because they just have so many different rules. Because we kind of saw that in the game. was it last night, where it looked like it was a catch and they ripped it out, and then they ended up giving them the interception or whatever the case may be. But look, at the end of the day, Josh Allen missed a lot of throws, especially the one to I think it was Kincaid, or was it Kincaid or Knox? Was it?
I think it was Knox.
Knox, where he had a clear open, he just overthrew him. The turnovers, the underthrows, like it was kind of like half and half. Like the Bills should have won this game, but at the end of the day, the refs did kind of like just step all over the overtime and the end of the game. So at the end of the day, this Bills team will be the Bills, man. I know I have homies that are Bills fans. There's parts of me that feels bad, but at the same time, like, you need to blame your organization. You need to blame your GM. You need to look at your quarterback. He needs to make the plays. Like, it gets to a point where it's just like, you can't save Josh Allen no more, man. There's just no more excuses for him. Even with the ref situation, there's no more excuses for him, man. You had the opportunity. You didn't have to go through Mahomes. You didn't have to go through Lamar Jackson. You didn't have to go through Joe Burrow. They want to proclaim you as the greatest living quarterback of all time. You got the Rex Ryan guys and all them, like, start acting like it. You know what I mean? Like, when these moments come, you should be able to overcome whatever instance, whatever negative outcome that comes to your team, whether it's the refs or whatever. Like, perform. So whether your GM doesn't give you the talent that you deserve to have, perform. So this kind of is what it is right now. And then, with the Denver Broncos, congratulations to them. It's tough, though, because now you don't have your starting quarterback. You're go in with Jarrett Stidham. And I know that those guys are going to try to give him all the confidence in the world during practice this week, heading into the game. But let's be honest, man, this Denver Broncos defense is going to have to be like all time for them to have a chance to win that game on Sunday. And, with Jarrett Stidham, he just can't let the moment be too big for him, just kind of go in there. But props for them, man, for getting this far. But it does suck that, they will not have their star quarterback to go into one of their biggest games they've been involved in a long time.
Yeah, for sure. There were some questionable calls on here. I thought it was a catch too. I thought he had caught the ball, rolled over, and then the ball came out. But it is what it is. But I agree, man. There should be no excuses. At the end of the day, I know we talk about the weapons and Brandon Beane going out there and get some wide receivers, but that wasn't the reason why they lost the game. They put up 30-something points. Like, like, it wasn't the weapons that was the problem. Brandon Cooks made plays. Don Kincaid made plays. Knox made plays. James Cook ran over 100 yards. Like, what more can you ask for from your weapons? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, defensively they didn't, but we all went into this game knowing that their defense wasn't that good. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, you still stood up to that Denver Broncos defense, who's one of the better defenses in the league, and you put 30-something points up. Like, you can't blame that on the weapons. I don't want to hear nothing about Josh Allen not having weapons, because if you're a great player, you're going to elevate the players around you. So, and he did that to a certain extent. But you can't turn the football over 4 times. No. You just can't. You cannot have that, especially the one before the half. That was a backbreaker because you awarded Denver 3 points right there. If that doesn't happen right there, even if, let's say, they don't score, they just, whatever, they don't get the ball, they got to whatever, go into the half and it's whatever. At least that's 3 points off the board that Denver doesn't have. Mm-hmm. And you ultimately lost because of that. So, you can't have that. As somebody like Josh Allen's caliber, you can't have those boneheaded mistakes. You just can't. You have to be clean. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you have one turnover. All right, that's football. But 4, like, those are backbreakers. Those are game changers. You're giving opportunities to Denver to score, whether it be 3 or 7. And this game is margins. It's slim margins of errors in the NFL, man. It's the difference between winning and losing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you make too many mistakes, and that's going to kind of be the theme this weekend. If you make too many mistakes, it's going to bite you in the ass and it's going to come get you. So, hey, man, they, shout out to Buffalo. They just fired. So we talked about it early. They ultimately cost Sean McDermott his job, and they promoted Brandon Beane. So we'll see how that looks. But as far as Denver goes, yeah, man, it's a tough blow. That shout out to Bo Nix for toughing it out. You know what I'm saying? Because they showed it when he ended up breaking his foot, and they showed him, kind of toughing it out, you know what I'm saying, trying to, get the W, but it kind of sucks now that you got to go in there with Jared Stidham in the AFC Championship game and try to get him ready to go. He hasn't played all season. Now he's got to play in the biggest game of his life. So, like you said, that defense is going to have to be all world, because if they want to make it to the Super Bowl, it's going to be because of them. They're going to turn to the 2015 Denver Broncos, where Peyton Manning was not Peyton Manning anymore, and he just had to manage the game. So we'll see how that works out. But hey, shout out to both teams.
Oh, well, the Broncos did get a little bit of good news. They did open the practice window for J.K. Dobbins, so he might be able to play this week.
They're going to need J.K., R.J. Harvey. Going to need them all.
And I agree with Mark. Maybe that new stadium. Maybe, they got the new stadium. Maybe they'll give him some new juju going into that new stadium.
You talking about Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo, yeah.
Then we had the night game. We had the 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks was at home after coming off the bye week, and it showed.
Did it? There's not really much to say about this game.
This was a BTA, man. And I just look, San Francisco's injuries just caught up to them. That's what this game showed. Seattle was just too well equipped to face this 49ers team. The floodgates kind of came in the third quarter. Once they really Seattle really got scoring. I mean, the momentum was out the gate, of course, with the Rashid Shaheed kickoff return. But even still, 49ers was doing a pretty decent job of keeping them at 17, and they was kicking field goals and kind of inching back in, but it was just a couple back-breaking plays that, Seattle just came back, and after they scored 24, it was just over. They just got there running up the score, and it was just bad to a point in the fourth quarter we got to see the backup quarterback. So, hey, shout out to Seattle, man. They came to play. Sam Darnold, he played pretty well. He ain't really had to do too much heavy lifting, but hey, man, he played well enough to get him over the hump. Now they're in the NFC Championship game against another NFC rivalry against the Rams. We'll talk about that in a minute. But shout out to Seattle, man. The 49ers, hey, man, back to the drawing board.
I don't have much to say, man. Shout out to the Seahawks, man. Shout out to them, man. You just it is what it is, man. They look really good. They would bring on the next opponent, man. Congrats.
Yeah, for sure. Then we had the Sunday slate. We had the afternoon or the noon game. We had the Houston Texans traveling to New England to face the Patriots. Look, man, this game pretty much went the way I thought it was going to go with C.J. Stroud with 4 interceptions. Now, Drake May had his turnover issues, too, with the fumbles.
That shit both teams had.
Yeah.
This is an ugly game, boy.
Yeah, it was one point where it was like, I swear it was like back-to-back turnovers.
Yeah, bro, this game was ugly as hell, bro.
But the difference in this game was that, and this is what I said in my prediction, I just said Drake May was going to make more plays than C.J. Stroud, and that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? The Boodle touchdowns, especially that one-handed catch that he caught down the field. I just think that was the kind of the backbreaker right there. And C.J. Stroud just looked lost out there. After his 4th interception, it was just bad. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't good. I know people are going to point to no Nico Collins and all that, but we've been talking about C.J. Stroud not playing good football, and he just had his worst. He was already bad against Pittsburgh, and then he comes into this game and plays even worse and ultimately cost his team this loss. Like, this is on his floor. This is on his feet. He's going to have to figure out what he wants to do going forward. He's going to have to get better. He's going to have to look at the film, look at the game tapes, go into this offseason, get with a quarterback coach, fix something. I don't know if he got to work on his processing in the field better or whatever, but he got to work on it something, because if he goes into the top of the season next year, I can see him getting benched, and we're going to be seeing Davis Mills for the rest of the season or whoever the backup is. So, shout out to the Patriots. They're back in the AFC Championship game. You know, them Patriot fans is going to be obnoxious and on a whole nother level. But shout out to him. Drake May, like I said, even though he had his struggles, he made more plays. And hey man, they're going to the NFC Championship game.
Nah, yeah, this game was atrocious. I hate to say it. This game was bad. At the end of the day, the Patriots, they were the better team. Obviously going into the next game, they're gonna have to clean some stuff up on that offensive side. But I think the receivers on the Patriots, they looked amazing, man. Stephon Diggs, he had a great catch for a touchdown, and obviously Booty, he had the one-handed catch. So they made the key plays that they needed to do. This Patriots defense looked really amazing. That front line looked really good. Them cornerbacks were flying around, hitting really hard. I'm not going to beat the Texans too much on this time around. I've already said my piece about CJ Stroud, especially when we talked about when we did the who would you rather have. But at the end of the day with the Texans, man, I'll just say this, man. Their defense is legit. They just got to figure out the quarterback situation. I'm happy for DeMeco Ryans because some of the rumors about him potentially getting fired I thought was kind of unjust. We all know he's a great head coach. You know what I mean? Obviously, he still needs to find a way to win the bigger games and all that. But this quarterback is going to hinder you a little bit. They got to find a way to either build his confidence back up. I don't know if they want to go a route in looking for a new OC that potentially could help him. I don't know. Maybe there's some disconnect between CJ Stroud and the OC. They need to look into all options and exhaust everything possible for this offensive side because this defense is just too good, man, for you guys to just waste it. So,
yeah, for sure. And then we have the last game. The LA Rams faced the Chicago Bears in Chicago. This was a defensive battle. Neither offenses could really get things going. I know the weather probably had a lot to do with it. It was snowing. You know what I'm saying? It was probably slick out there.
What the fuck?
But what?
There's rumors that Raiders might trade the number 1 pick for Lamar Jackson.
What?
He said there's a feeling, this is from Pro Football Talk, there's a feeling out there that the Raiders are going to make a play for Lamar.
Right.
It's from Mike Florio. I don't know. I don't believe that. I'm not mad at Lamar, but give my guy McDoza, dog. Come on, man. I'm not mad at either one. How can I be mad at Lamar Jackson? But he is getting older. I don't know how I feel about that. They better this right now. We'll see.
But anyway, it was a defensive battle back and forth. Like I said, the weather, probably has a lot to do with it. This was a struggle for both offenses. But at the end of the day, this is a crazy game, especially the ending, the Caleb Williams, touchdown to tie it up to get into overtime. There's been a lot of talk about, maybe they should have went for 2 to try to end the game. Ultimately in overtime, they got to stop against that Rams offense. But unfortunately, Caleb Williams threw an interception. People could talk about if it was Moore or Caleb Williams' fault, but it didn't end up, losing in the game. The kicker kicked the field goal to win the game for the Rams, and the Rams are moving on to the NFC Championship game to face their rival Seattle. How are you feeling about this game, sir?
This was a really good game, man. I think both sides played really hard, man. I think this was definitely the game of the week for me. Caleb Williams, he kind of started off a little slow, like always, but he showed real hard, man, especially that last throw. That might have been one of the best throws I've seen in the playoffs with that touchdown in the corner to Kmet. So at the end of the day, there are a lot of things that this Bears team needs to get better at as far as that defensive side. I would like to see them maybe add some additions to that piece. Obviously, I did see a video. This was from Chase Daniels, the quarterback. He used to play quarterback. I forgot. I think he used to play for the Broncos or something like that. He kind of showed a video of that play where Caleb Williams threw the pick that kind of helped the Rams win the game and set up the winning field goal. Where DJ Moore, just the effort was just bad. You know what I mean? If you look at the video, I don't know if Chris has seen this, but it looked pretty telling, especially like how Chase was kind of describing it. So that's not a really good look for DJ Moore. I know we kind of hinted at DJ Moore potentially being my future star receiver. I like DJ Moore, but there are certain things that I don't like about DJ Moore.
But and then I love how they handled the press conference, Ben Johnson and Caleb. You can kind of tell, like, I think the way the Bears handled it was way better than what I saw from the Buffalo Bills. Like, I get the emotions from the Buffalo Bills, but at the same time, like, it just didn't look confident enough that you guys can get over the hump. It just seems like y'all were defeated in that moment. At least with Caleb and Ben Johnson, they were like, look, it's not the result that we wanted, but I see a lot of, I think we can get over, I think we can get to where we need to go. And Caleb kind of showed that. Like, I think it should put a lot of faith for this Bears fan base, man. So, and then the Rams, like, look, man, this Rams team showed a lot of heart, especially going in that winter storm and performing the way they did. Matthew Stafford looked amazing. Kyron Williams in this running game looked really good. Puka Nacua, Devontae Williams making some big catches, especially Devontae at the end. He had a key catch that got him a first down. So look, man, it's setting up for the big game next Sunday. Third time this year we get the Rams and Seahawks. I can't wait to watch that matchup and preview that. But it's going to be a good, man. But, congratulations to the Bears on a successful season. And I do expect them to be back in this position next year.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely be interesting to see what Chicago does in the offseason, man, to add to this team, man, especially defensively, add to this defensive line. Maybe add something on the back end too. I think their safeties are really good. Byard, we all know Byard is really good. He led the league in takeaways this year again. And Brisker, he showed some stuff too. And we like Jalen Johnson too.
Yeah, he'll be healthier next year, hopefully.
Yeah. So, just add a little bit more to that secondary, probably add to this defensive line. And they should be right back. That offense is going to be that offense. We'll see what happens with DJ Moore. Maybe they trade him away and get somebody else up in there, or just roll with Rome and Luther and Colston Loveland next year.
We'll see. I know they want my boy. I know Bears fans want my boy, but y'all want him. It's gonna be a hefty price. Hefty price. Just know that.
We'll see what Chicago does, man. Shout out to the Bears. And as far as the Rams go, hey man, shout out to them too. The NFC Championship game. And that does it for recap.
I love Lamar Jackson, but I don't know if I like that. I want to go with the youth. I want to go with Mendoza. I'm getting pointed to. I'm like, we should have did the Lamar Jackson trade 3 years ago when he was when he was younger. Like, now it's just like, I love Lamar, but I'd rather us get the youth quarterback. I'd rather us get Mendoza and focus on getting younger and actually building something. That's kind of my thought. I don't think we're ready for a Lamar Jackson trade. I don't think we're the team for the Lamar Jackson trade. I think the Lamar Jackson trade should be like Houston Texans. Houston Texans, call for Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Minnesota Vikings, call for Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh Steelers, call for Lamar Jackson. There's other teams that the Atlanta Falcons, like, yo, you have problems with Stefanski, but Stefanski's like, yo, I got Lamar Jackson here for y'all. That would change the whole feel about Kevin Stefanski real quick. So, like,
no,
I just don't think
they be like, he gonna ruin them.
Yeah, maybe not. Nah, I think he probably likes Lamar Jackson. He's seen enough of Lamar Jackson to not do that. I just don't think we're the team that fits Lamar Jackson right now. We need to build something. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much I don't want Lamar Jackson. It's just I'd rather get Mendoza, and I think he fits the timeline with what we need compared to Lamar. Lamar needs to win now. That's my thought. What's your thoughts about that?
I hear you. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I think either move is good. It's great for your organization. If you get Lamar Jackson, now you got this well-established quarterback who's won multiple MVPs. And now, you know what I'm saying? It lets me know that y'all want to win now. That's what it lets me know. You will get Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying, if you get Lamar Jackson, Mark Davis is like, I think, well, Geno ain't Mark.
I'm not saying Geno's Lamar. I'm just saying, like, I just think we have too many holes.
I do think that with Lamar Jackson's skill set, it will, not to say that Mendoza, because he can run too, but he's not Lamar Jackson, but with your offensive line issues, it will help out a lot more with Lamar Jackson being able to run and scramble, and his ability to do that, to extend plays. And
trust me, I'm not mad at Lamar.
And we know how Lamar is. Him and Brock Bowers would be
And with Ashton Genty, that RPO would be nasty. You know what I mean?
I agree. I'm just saying, like, but Brock Bowers will put up real numbers because we've seen what he did with Mark Andrews and even Likely. So,
and we do have $100 million in cap, and I'm sure that would be very intriguing for. And then honestly, this could be a situation where maybe if we get Lamar Jackson, I could see Mike McDaniels being our coach. I could see it being Mike McDaniels, low key, because I think he would fit that timeline as well. Like if we get a younger head coach, if we got like a Davis Webb, if we got like a Jesse Minter or something like that, then I think it should be Mendoza. But if we're gonna get a veteran coach, like let's say it's like a Sean McDermott or something, or like Mike McDaniels or something like that, then that would. If we get one of those head coaches, then I think the possibilities of us trading for Lamar Jackson is probably higher. But I think if we get a younger head coach, I think it's Mendoza. Go with Mendoza. Either way, I'm not going to be mad. It's just that with the timeline, because here's my thing. They keep preaching that they want to build something for the long haul, not just a quick, fast food, fast drive. We're going to try to win. Have a 3-4 year window. They keep preaching that they want this to be sustainable for years and years to come, decades to come. Like we want to be one of these organizations that is viewed as that's a winning organization, not the joke that we've been looked at the last 20 years. Like, is that Lamar Jackson or is that Mendoza? You know what I mean? Like, to me, that sounds like more of a Mendoza move. Now, obviously, we don't know what Mendoza is going to be when he gets into the league, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of in this weird place because I love Lamar Jackson. I've been wanting Lamar Jackson on my Raiders, but at the same time, it's like, does that fit the timeline? Does that, you know what I mean? I don't know. And then the AFC is kind of like wide open in a sense because we don't know when Patrick Mahomes is going to come back. You got Bo Nix out with an ankle injury. Josh Allen still got Brandon Beane. Like, Pittsburgh Steelers aren't good. Cincinnati Bengals are going to Cincinnati Bengal it up. Like, Browns are going to Browns. Like, got the Chargers. They get hurt all the time. Like, so that could put us in the front running position to get Lamar if we got Lamar.
Maybe that's how they looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
like Patrick Mahomes being hurt and now Bo Nix and all that. Maybe the window's open.
Yeah, maybe they looking at it.
Maybe
Rodgers gonna be on the injury report by week 2, so let's get Lamar Jackson.
So let me ask you, in reality, take the Chiefs hat off. We got Lamar Jackson and we got some right pieces with that $100 million. We hit the draft right. Do you think we will be Super Bowl contenders next year?
I think it's a possibility. I think y'all be playoff contenders for sure. Now, I would.
Well, Lamar Jackson, we better be a top 3 seed. If you're gonna go this route, we better be a top 3 seed, bro.
Well, I hear you. I'm just saying, like, you guys, but I got to see some of the move. Offensively, yes, you got Genty, you got Bowers. Maybe you add another wide receiver.
You're not trading Max if you do the Lamar Jackson thing. You're not trading Max. You're keeping Max. You're keeping Max if you do the Lamar Jackson thing.
Maybe.
You are. You're signaling you want to win now. You can't do that without Max, especially with the defense we got. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's the reality. Maybe you tried to talk to Max and maybe restructuring his contract to maybe flex up some flexibility on for the numbers for the next year or two, but you ain't trading Max if you do Lamar Jackson. That's a hell no.
Yeah. And yeah, depends on the coach.
Unless if you're getting like, if you trading Max, then you're telling me you're going to get multiple defensive pieces. You know what I mean? Like, not saying elite, but at least the second tier.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's just some rumor from one fucking thing.
Yeah, it's Mike Florio, so I only take it with a grain of salt, and it's pro football talk. But it's gonna be a lot of rumors going on.
Just take for
I'm honestly, I'll be honest with you. I've never experienced the number 1 pick in my prime. So I'm sure there was rumors going around with
We did, and it was one of the worst drafts ever. Like damn near every first round pick was a bust.
Who was your number 1 pick?
Eric Fisher. He was fine eventually. He was fine. He was cool.
But how was it with like rumors and stuff? Was it like, oh, y'all gonna trade back this and that, or did it really even matter?
It didn't matter because it was just a terrible draft.
Terrible. Who else was in that draft?
I gotta look. 2012 draft. NFL draft. Was it the one? No, it was the 2011. Was it 2013? Hold on. Give me a second. Maybe 2011. No, it wasn't that draft. Draft was it? Eric Fisher draft class 2013. So yeah, it was Eric Fisher, Luke Jokel, he was a bust. Deion Jordan, a bust. Now Lane Johnson became one of the best. Ezekiel Azanza, he was okay. Vicarious Mingo, bust. Jonathan Cooper was okay. Tavon Austin, bust. D. Millender, bust. Chance Walmack, he was okay. DJ Fluker, I think, was a bust. DJ Hayden was a bust. Sheldon Richardson was okay. Star Latu was okay. Kenny Vaccaro, EJ Manuel, bust. Jarvis Jones, I don't even know. Eric Reed was okay. He was cool. Kyle Long was okay. Tyler Eifert, he had his moment, but he kept getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it was bad.
Now, this is the year y'all got Travis Kelce.
Yeah, in the third round, yeah, we got him.
Who else was in this draft? You had DeAndre Hopkins, Zach Ertz, Darius Slay, Geno, Robert Woods, Jonathan Hankins, Travis Kelce, John Jenkins.
I'm just talking about the first round. Was a terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking at who else is Kyle Juszczyk.
You could have got DeAndre Hopkins, man.
Latavius Murray was in this draft. The top of that draft is atrocious. Lord Jesus.
You're bad, bro.
Jordan Poyer was in this draft. Who do we draft this year? It was 2013. Who did the Raiders get? Oh, we got DJ Hayden.
Yeah, it was a bad draft.
Yeah, that draft is disgusting. That draft is disgusting, boy. Lord Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah, it's bad.
Lord.
Hopefully get better.
Why was it so bad that year? Like, it was just maybe
was
players just got picked at the wrong teams or some shit.
Yeah,
The philosophies back then must have been ass.
It was a weak class that year. Weak class.
Yeah.
They're kind of saying the same thing, but here too. But I think there's some more high end players in this draft.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. You got any flowers of the week?
Flowers. Who do I have? Who do I have? Nah, man, honestly, flowers, man, just peace and positivity to anybody going through some shit. You know what I mean? Things hopefully will get better. That's kind of my flowers, man. Anybody going through something, man, keep your head up, man. It'll be all right.
Well, my flowers go to the day of the man's holiday, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
Got to give him his flowers, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Got to, because ain't about to be a MLK day for the next couple years.
If it wasn't for him, man, we wouldn't be able to talk to some of the people that we talk to. Yeah, we'd still be segregated.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King, man, for all the things that he did, that he had to go to, that he had to endure. You know, unfortunately, he had an untimely death, assassination. But you know, his dream and his message still lives on to this day. So he definitely gets my flowers. I'm sure he gets Maul's flowers too. All right, man. Who gets your hell no?
Man, I could say the same name every week because I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of this person. They all know who it is, man. Now it's saying civil rights is bad for white people now. I'm just like, oh man, here we go. Honestly, who do I have? I'll be honest with you. I really don't have anybody. Man. Negative wise. Honestly, I don't have anything.
Mine's go to Race Ryan because this morning he advocated for Bill Belichick to be the Buffalo Bills head coach.
Oh, word?
Yes. And he said that that's the only name that can do it. They can get it done. And I'm just like, nah, I'm sorry. I love Bill Belichick. I think he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the most greatest defensive minds of all time. But at this point in time in his career, nah, he's 73 years old. We just saw what Pete Carroll did with your Raiders. He's 74.
Yeah.
And right now, Bill Belichick just got too much going on. He got too much baggage, man. Too much baggage. We don't need that for Josh Allen right now. He already got enough going on with himself. So we don't need Bill Belichick to bring the circus in. They need somebody who's a little bit younger, more established. Maybe it has to be Joe Brady. Maybe it's Daboll. Somebody who knows Josh Allen, knows how to use Josh Allen. A little bit more of an offensive-minded personnel. You know what I'm saying? Sean McDermott was more of a defensive-minded. They tend to like to run the football a little bit more, play defense. Maybe he needs a more offensive presence in his ear. So shout out to Bill Belichick, but Rex Ryan, you bugging. You selling Damian Woody, you almost got on this list because you was right there, champion, and I just think that was more so because you played for the man. But this league is going towards younger coaches. There's going to be a period of time we're going to have a conversation about Andy Reid too because he's getting older. But right now, this is a young man's game. And they need to go towards a younger presence at coach. They don't need to go back and go older and try to dip into a well. We haven't even seen Bill Belichick have any type of success since Tom Brady left the building. And so we don't even know if Bill Belichick can even win. Yeah, Josh Allen is a great talent, and maybe that's what he needs. But even him building a team wasn't great. Like he couldn't even put the right pieces around to even get a good team. Now he had the one good year with Mac Jones, but outside of that, he even made Mac Jones look bad his next 2 seasons.
Yeah,
because it was devoid of talent and a wide receiver and even on the defensive end, and that's his bread and butter. So I'm good. No, Rex, you get held on the week, sir. And I could give hell no a week to some of y'all coddling Josh Allen and all, and him crying and all that stuff.
I give hell no to them NFL refs though.
They can get that every week. So that's kind of low hanging fruit right there. So, but yeah, Rex, you get hell no.
Oh my God, bro. Oh hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
All right, man. All right, good people. If you want to donate to the Cris Style and Mal podcast, you can donate to Cris Mal podcast. That's our cash app. We appreciate whatever you want to donate to us. Whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, whatever you use, we're available. First-time watchers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesdays 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can jump in the live like Mark does on a consistent basis. You could also check out the episode last week when he was on with us. Jump in the live with us, talk about these topics. Give us your opinion, man. How you feel about the divisional round, how you feel about the national championship today, how you feel about the all-star teams that have been announced. Just give us your opinion. Even in the playback, if you listen on playback, leave a comment in the comment section. and whatever streaming social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, whatever you use, you can follow us at Cris Style and Mal. We will follow you back. We're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. If you have feedback or critiques, if you have a question or topic, and we like said question or topic, we will bring it up. We will shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mentions. All right, good people. Until Wednesday, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I know a lot of y'all are off today, so enjoy your day with your family, or you're single. Enjoy your day. Don't do nothing crazy. If you're gonna watch the national championship game, hope it's a good one for y'all, man. Put your bets in. Make you some money tonight. And NBA too. Some good games on the NBA slate today too. So, hope you guys enjoy your day. Until Wednesday, we are out.
Peace out, y'all.